about a situation where everything in your life is built on the foundation of purpose. Whatever you do is determined by God's purpose for your life. So you don't do things because everyone else is doing it. You don't engage into activities because everyone else is doing the activity. You go into something because it is part of your purpose. It's what God has called you to do. The pursuit of purpose is an interesting theme because it helps us have clarity, to have direction in life. Sometimes, especially when you are multi-talented, you are multi-gifted, it is very difficult to find clarity or to have direction in life, because often you just want to do whatever comes your way. Because you are good at something, you go and do it. Friend, just because you are good at something, it doesn't mean you should start doing it. You should pursue that. The gifts that God has given you, they are tools or empowerment or enabling for the purpose that He has given you. So He has given you those abilities, those skills, so that you may fulfill purpose for the sake of that purpose, to empower you to fulfill that purpose and unleash the potential that He has placed within you. So this is why I'm so passionate about the pursuit of purpose. Because whenever I talk about the pursuit of purpose, I know I'm talking about what life is all about. Because the meaning of life is purpose. Life is all about purpose. Nothing else matters in life than purpose. Everything we do should be founded on purpose, including the people we marry or the people we get married to, the careers we pursue, whatever we buy or do. Everything has to be founded on purpose. That's the secret to fulfillment in life. We have people in the world who are doing well financially, and in many areas that people would consider to be successful. They are doing well in those areas, yet they are unfulfilled. Yet they are frustrated in life. Why? Because they lack purpose. They lack purpose. As much as we are pursuing wealth, as much as we are pursuing to build our businesses, whatever it is that we want to build or we are building right now, it is very important that they are founded on purpose. So the question would be, what is purpose, and how can one go about discovering God's purpose for their lives? That's a powerful question, and that's one of the most important questions you can ask yourself. Why am I here? Why do I exist? So, why do you exist? You need to realize that God is the God of purpose, and everything He does or everything He created them for a purpose. Is the God of purpose. The God of purpose. Everything has a purpose. If God created the flowers for a purpose that are here today and gone tomorrow, they have a purpose. How much more you, whom He created in His image and after His likeness? There is a purpose for your life. That's one thing I would want you to understand, my friend. There is a purpose for your life. Ignorance of purpose does not cancel purpose. Just because you don't know your purpose, it doesn't mean there isn't one. God created you for a purpose, and you are here on earth for that purpose. Your purpose determined the nation which we are born into. Your purpose determined the family you were born into. Your purpose determined your height. It determined how you look. It determined even the gifts that God has given you, the gifts that you have, the ability that you have. In other words, you are the way you are because of why you are. It is purpose that necessitated your creation, that determined your design. So you are the way you are because of why you are. So if you look at yourself, if you see yourself through the lenses of other people's purposes, you feel inadequate, you feel inferior, you feel you are not worthy. You won't see your value. But if you see yourself through the lens of God's purpose for your life, you realize that, wow, you have an unfair advantage. You have an unfair advantage. I have this ability to communicate because it's part of it's the skill. It's an empowerment for my purpose, because my purpose has to do with teaching. It has to do with teaching. So that's the reason why God has gifted me with the ability to communicate. And another ability that I have is that I comprehend things fast. I comprehend things fast. You can just explain something to me. Just you from explaining, I'll be able to explain it even better than you have explained it at times. Why? It's because this ability to comprehend things faster is as a result because I'm supposed to teach. So it complements who I am and who God created me to be. So even this YouTube channel, as I started this YouTube channel, I started it. Me, it's not just a YouTube channel and content creation, it is the pursuit of purpose. I'm pursuing God's purpose for my life. So even you, there is a purpose for your life. Just because you don't know your purpose, it doesn't mean there isn't one. There is a purpose for your life. So now let me tell you a story how I got to this message, how I arrived at discovering my purpose. Let me tell you this story. So it was in 2014. 2014, I was in the university by then. Then my friend, one of my friends, introduced me to the teachings of Dr. Miles Mundo. Then I heard his message on purpose. Immediately, I heard about purpose. I listened to some of his messages, Dr. Miles Munroe messages. I read some of the books. I read about purpose. When I read that, that message resonated with me. I it resonated with me. So from that moment, I started studying this message. And I've been studying this message for more than 10 years now about purpose, what purpose is, and what the meaning of purpose and why we are here on earth, what God intention for humanity was and is, and what God's plan for mankind is on this earth. So I've been studying that for years. No wonder I talk about this pursuit of purpose, and I've realized that life is about purpose. The meaning of life is purpose. Without purpose, you end up frustrated. Without purpose, resources are wasted. Without purpose, abuse is inevitable. So now, fast forward to now, where I am now, at least I've mastered this message of purpose, and it has helped me discover who I am because then I was struggling with inferiority complex. I didn't know who I was. I looked down on myself. Why? Because of the environment where I came from. Especially I was feeling like this immediately whenever I find myself in people coming, maybe with some of my friends who are coming from well-to-do family. I felt as if I'm inferior to them just because they come from a well-to-do family. Why? Because I lacked identity. I lacked identity. I had identity crisis by then. But when I discovered God's purpose for my life, it gave me an identity. And that identity, the identity that I received from God's purpose for my life, is what empowered me, is what has even given me confidence to share the message with it. I can talk like this for hours. For hours, I can just teach, go on over and over, and never feel intimidated. Why? Because now I know who I am. I know that I'm God's image. I'm God's image created here on a position strategically to represent him wherever I find myself. So I am uniquely myself, and I am confident in who I am and who God created me to be. No wonder I pursue this purpose. So now, this has really helped me to build confidence, like I said, has helped me to realize who I was and the abilities that I have, and even have confidence to pursue certain things. There are certain things that I confidently pursue, which I couldn't have even dared to pursue then. But because I know who I am, I know how to apply myself. Why? What has given me that identity is purpose. My identity comes from God's purpose for my life, who I am. Just maybe to digress a bit, in the beginning, Genesis chapter 1, verse 26, the Bible says, God said, let us make man in our own image and after our likeness. Do you know what that means? That simply means God said, let us make a representative figure, someone to represent us, to reflect our nature and character. And that's the primary purpose why God created man, is to reflect his nature and his character, to function like God. So wherever I find myself, wherever I go, I am there to represent God. I am there to represent God. It doesn't matter how how it doesn't matter how I got there, but what matters is because I'm there to represent God. There to represent God, to demonstrate the perfection of God, to demonstrate who God is. So even this channel, my YouTube channel about the pursuit of purpose, no wonder I talk about purpose. For me, this is the pursuit of purpose. As I am pursuing purpose, I'm pursuing what God leads me to do, the message that He gives me to share with others out there. I know every one of us as human beings, there is a deeper longing. There is a deeper longing to I think the major thing of that deeper longing is to find out to find out the meaning. We want to find the meaning in life. We are trying to find meaning in life. What is the meaning of my life? We are longing for that, even if we cannot express it, even if we don't care to agree. Every one of us, we are longing for purpose. We are seeking to find the meaning of life. What is the meaning of life? And people are trying a lot of things, all because they want to understand the meaning of life. They are trying to discover who they are. But the best way to discover that is to ask the Creator, the one who created you. He created you for a purpose. He's the one who knows your purpose, and He's the one who knows who you are. And when you discover that, it changes everything, because you were created in God's image, you are God's image. Then discovering of who God is also discovering who you are. So the more you know about God, the more you learn about God, the more you discover who you are. And that's really profound, and it's a message that I really want to share with people and help people to understand. Because imagine, whatever you learn about God is who you are, because you are His image. So knowing God is knowing yourself. So if you are ignorant about who God is, you are ignorant about yourself. So this message of purpose is very profound, and it changes a person. It influences everything about a person. Once you discover your purpose, you discover who you are, and from that you discover your potential, what you are capable of. You discover where you are going. You discover who God called you to be, and that challenges you, and that empowers you so much in life than if you don't know who you are. Because knowing your purpose, there is nothing that can empower you in life like knowing who you are, knowing your purpose. Once you discover that, the empowerment, it's difficult to explain to someone, but once you experience that, it changes everything. It's a game changer. It is the game changer. So today, I want you to understand that there is a purpose for your life. Ignorance of purpose does not cancel purpose. Just because you don't know your purpose, it doesn't mean there isn't one. Ignorance of purpose does not cancel purpose. God created you for a purpose. And it doesn't matter the circumstances of your birth. It doesn't matter whether someone rejects you or what. They didn't just realize what God has placed in you. The fact that you are here, you are alive here on earth, it means God has a plan for you. God has a purpose for you. He doesn't, where you are right now doesn't nullify God's purpose for your life. It doesn't nullify what God has placed within you. All you have to do is discover and begin to pursue it. Begin to pursue it. Once you discover it, you may have been struggling with identity crisis. Maybe you are struggling with addictions and maybe drugs or everything. It's just because you haven't discovered who you are. Once you discover purpose, oh, it's a game changer. It's a game changer, and everything about you will begin to change. Friend, God has a purpose for your life. So, this is the pursuit of purpose with Nevers. And I'll be coming live from time to time just to have this conversation, to share these insights with you about purpose and about why we exist. Because God has positioned us wherever we are for a purpose. For a purpose. You are not a mistake. You are not a mistake. You are not an accident. It doesn't matter the circumstances of your birth. You are not a mistake. God has a purpose for your life. God has a purpose for your life. If you find value in this video, share with your friends. Kindly subscribe, because more content like this I'll bring in. We'll go in depth, talk about purpose, talk about life, talk about business, talk about leadership. We'll talk about these things because the goal is becoming, we want to pay it's all about the pursuit of purpose. So this channel is about the pursuit of purpose and how the pursuit of purpose looks like. So I'm going to be sharing with you my journey of purpose, how I began to pursue purpose, so that you understand what it's all about. Otherwise, thank you so much for taking time to watch. God bless you.